Welcome to Modern Management of the Older Adult, brought to you by the Institute of Clinical Excellence.
Welcome to the MMOA podcast. My name is Annoushka Ranaraja, and I'm currently served as a TA in the MMOA division of the Institute of Clinical Excellence. Before we get to the topic at hand, I wanted to let you know what is up and coming in the MMOA division. MMOA podcast comes out every Wednesday and Thursday, where you can catch us talking about all things Jerry. We also go live every Wednesday with Jerry on Ice at 9 a.m. Eastern on the Ice Instagram account. We have lots of courses coming up. To name a few, this weekend, January 28th and 29th, Dustin will be in Memphis, Tennessee with MMOA Live. Next week, Christina will be in Choctaw, Oklahoma, and you can catch Alex in Beaverton, Oregon. MMOA Digest is a bi-weekly email where you can get relevant research, helpful podcasts, and other information to help you better serve your older adults right to your inbox. Hop on MMOA.online and get signed up for MMOA Digest if you aren't already signed up. So what we're going to talk about today is osteoporosis. And part of the reason this came up is because we've had a lot of patients come in recently. Yes, for Choctaw. But we've had a lot of patients recently come through and they have osteoporosis, and I have fellow clinicians that haven't figured out what we can do exactly for osteoporosis or don't discuss it with those patients. So I thought, let's bring this information back in. There's a clinical practice guideline put out June 2022, and it went over some stuff. I'll go over a little bit of that, and I'll also attach a couple resources to the bottom of this. We're going to talk about some risk factors for osteoporosis, how it's diagnosed, and some exercises we can do to improve bone mineral density and decrease the likelihood of fracture. So there's a lot of non-modifiable risk factors, but we don't want to just focus on those because we can't change them. So things that we can talk to our patients about include cigarette smoking, excessive alcohol intake, excessive caffeine intake, steroid use, low weight, calcium poor diet, low vitamin D levels, and last but not least, inactive lifestyles and lack of weight-bearing exercises. That is going to be where our main focus is, but knowing those other things for the patients is also important. So sorry. Osteoporosis is best diagnosed with the DEXA scan, which measures bone mineral density and body composition. If you suspect your patient has a loss in bone mineral density, refer them out for a DEXA scan or back to their PCP to have one done. The information can be really helpful, so sometimes I like to have our patients bring that back to us so I know where they have osteoporosis. Typically, they're just told that they have osteoporosis and they have no idea if it is at the wrist, at the back, or at their hip. So really good information to have. Weight-bearing exercises can be as simple as stomping, heel drops, plyo push-ups at the wall, walking or stair climbing with a weighted vest, boxing, tennis or other racket sports, dancing, or even jogging and jumping rope if bone density is higher than negative 3.0. So really good things to incorporate. Something like stomping can be done with a patient no matter where if they are seated in a wheelchair or if they're able to walk or have a walker, right? It's all different things that we can incorporate in there. Something like a heel drop from just have them sit there and bounce down can be really helpful. Adjusting the risk, something as simple as a plyo push-up at the wall is great because it gives them an opportunity to have support, but doesn't necessarily take away the fact that they're still going to get weight bearing. Obviously, if you can change it to a modified plantigrade, so have them resting on the plinth or down to the ground, even better. Let gravity assist that weight-bearing position. Something like boxing, really allow them to kind of grade where they're at with that. Sometimes that means that they're not going to be punching as hard, but they're still going to get some assistance, and that compression can be helpful from the gloves itself. Jogging is something that I think a lot of our patients are scared to do. Especially those that might be at risk of osteoporosis. So something that you want to be cautious of going into it. Resistance exercises is another category that the research looks at. And as long as they're weightlifting with good form, they're not doing a lot of bending or twisting, it can be super helpful for a patient to do. And we want our patients to be robust. That's the whole theme of things, right? So why not get them into these things? I have a patient that came in who was told not to lift her cat's litter box off the ground because she fractured her spine lifting something at PT. And I talked to her about it, and I was like, when we lift, we want to make sure that we're lifting with good form, and that could be really the difference between that fracture and not having a fracture. So making sure that we're teaching our patients how to hinge from their hips can be helpful and really prevent some of those fractures that they're experiencing, especially at the anterior vertebral bodies. Gravity-resisted exercises, including push-ups, squats, and lunges, which can be modified as needed, are also great activities just to get them up and moving, stronger, really pushing around their weight, but letting gravity assist. If they're able to, you can load them up even more. Again, add in that weighted vest as needed, or as you're able to, and then you can increase that resistance for them and really make some differences for their spine. Exercises to improve posture are also very helpful. Something like rowing, you can go into a bent over row if they have that hinge down, or use resistance bands in standing if you need to. Another thing is deadlifts, right? Deadlifts are just another hinge. We deadlift all day, but teaching them a good deadlift can be really, really helpful in both improving strength, posture, and just helping them with their everyday lives. So the recommendation is 2 to 3 times a week. That's 70 to 85% of their 1 rep max, 1 to 3 sets of 7 to 14 reps. And then balance, sorry for my dogs, they were outside. Things that we do for balance include yoga and Tai Chi, and they have a lot of research to support them, especially if they are avoiding the bending and twisting positions. Something that we look at a lot at the MMOI division is dynamic gait, reactive balance, looking at those components of the mini best, right? If we can help prevent the fall, then we're not as worried about the fracture. So looking at those components is going to be really important, and then taking it back and really using them as your treatment intervention is helpful. Something else I love and we talk about all the time is clock yourself. And what I like to do is add in stomping to those positions instead of just doing the regular stepping. You could even add in a weighted vest with this, right? So just getting them moving, getting them hopping if they're able to, different things I'll incorporate in. So things that we're going to talk to our patients about with osteoporosis include the modifiable risk factors. Is there anything that they can improve? Is there anything that they need to address with their doctors? Something like getting a DEXA scan, really important if they haven't already. And also sometimes when's the last time that they had that DEXA scan? And do they know where their osteoporosis is? And last but not least, getting in some of those weight-bearing resistance exercises and balance activities to help improve their strength, posture, and decrease their fall risk. So we have a great resource on the MMOI.online page with a presentation that you can share with your clinic on treatment for people with osteoporosis. And you're welcome to take that. The slides are available to you. There's a recording of how to even present that. Go ahead and use that resource and educate your fellow clinicians. It's really important. It's something that I would like to do here soon as I get an opportunity at the clinic. And then another thing is there's a resource with choosept.com that I will link again at the bottom of the page that you can hand out to your patients that have osteoporosis, just to let them know what we're able to do to help them and give them a little bit more hope and hopefully give them more functional mobility, because you're giving them permission to move in ways that they may not have moved in the past because they've been scared that they're going to have another fracture. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you again soon. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments or feel free to reach out to me here on my page. All right, bye.
Thank you for listening to the MMOA podcast. If you found this helpful, please share with someone that could benefit. And if you're looking for more practical content to help you better serve older adults, head over to www.mmoa.online, where you can learn more about our free resources, our community, continuing education courses, and our certification. Once again, that's www.mmoa.online. Thanks for listening.